Good afternoon, everybody. This is John Steiner. Had some minor technical difficulties, but Mike and the crew, they were able to do their troubleshooters, so they did a good job. Finally got it working. Kaz is here today. He's out there doing an interview. I think he's going to be on TV tonight for something. So if anybody wants to call in, the music isn't working too good today either, but we were able to get it on the air. So if anybody wants to call in, please do. A lot of interesting things going on around this town, so anybody have anything they want to talk about? We can talk about any issue you want. Well, thank God. Go ahead, caller.
You look like an old East Sider.
I am an old East Sider. I'm not old yet, though.
I'm an old East Sider.
I know you are. I know you're from pretty much the same neighborhood I am.
Yeah, right across from the old King's Mansion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I grew up, where the Russian church is down there?
Well, sure, where the Gorchinskys and...
Those were our neighbors. Yeah.
They were a nice group. Porky.
Sophie and those, they had these gardens down there.
Yeah.
And, they would hand these kettles over the fence to my grandfather, and my grandmother passed, so she took care of them. And I tell you, it was the best vegetable soup I ever had in my life.
Well, we all made good, that was a whole blend of people, Russian, Italians, Polish, German, blacks. Everybody got together well.
Well, see, down in that, on the Lower East Side many years ago, like you said, you're right. You had St. Patrick's, you had the Irish down there, and you had a lot of the Russian community was there, and the Polish community, and things are a little bit different now.
Let's go neighborhood house. Mm-hmm. You remember the neighborhood house?
Mm-hmm. Nate Levy's Market, I posted I was up at O'Charlie's restaurant, and I was sitting there, and I looked over at the wall, and there was a picture of Nate Levy and his wife right outside of Levy's Market, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Nate.
Yeah, so I took a picture of it and put it on my Facebook page, and I got a whole bunch of likes on it.
I got to know Lee and Eddie, that you had the grocery store.
How's that?
When I was a kid, I threw a banana stalk through his front. And that was a long summer. I worked that baby off. He paid me, but I paid for the window.
I'll tell you about Nate Levy. I'm going to tell you, this guy here, a lot of the people in that neighborhood, they didn't have a lot of money. He would let people run up a tab. If you couldn't pay today, you could go in and say, my mom said put it on the, can you put it on the tab? And then when you got paid, then, when the paychecks came out, then you went over to the store and you paid them. He had this little black book of a lot of names. And, I never heard him, I was in that store a lot as a kid. I never heard him complain to one person about it.
John and Cherry up the road did too.
Right.
In Cherry's Market?
Yeah.
Down from his brother had the pharmacy up on 4th Street.
Right.
And he had the little market next to the old Cesar Batista Club.
Wasn't there in a store called a Bates on 4th and...
Bates was on 4th and...
German.
4th.
I think German.
And my cousin finally took that over, Lenny Alecci.
Oh, yeah. There
was Pete.
Mm-hmm.
He had it, and his one brother worked for the security.
Right. Well, have you been down in that neighborhood, John?
Yeah, I've been down there going through it, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's another...
Well, there's, the best group down there. They're doing. Where they're working with the right people. They've Erie Insurance and them guys. They're all revitalizing it. So, it's, there's a lot of, they're fighting blight down there. It's improving.
They're fighting blight, but Erie Insurance is doing the majority of it.
Yeah.
At least they're on a tax roll.
Well, exactly. That's, we have a problem with,
45% not on the tax roll.
Yeah, how do you, I was talking to somebody, how in county council and city council and.
Well, did you read that article yesterday about the gaming money?
I did start to read some of it, but I did not finish it.
Well, read it, and you'll be surprised where the county's getting their money from that gaming money and then taking the money that they normally had allocated or appropriated for all these things and putting it in a general fund.
Yeah.
And I think this is double dipping.
Well, it's the city. I mean, we lost out on that a long time ago. But granted, that gaming money. I mean, there's big problems with that. What I'd like to see. I'd like to see county council and city council switch seats for about a year. I mean, I would like to see them sit up here and deal with nonprofits. I mean, they have money over there. You're the best politician when you got a bank full of money that you can tap into.
Oh, yeah. Well, Joe's saying, somebody told me, and it's true, in a county like any county, if Erie's doing bad, somebody's doing good, usually. Mm-hmm. So, for every Erie that's doing bad, you got Summit or Harbor Creek or Mill Creek.
Yeah.
So the county never really feels the pain.
No.
They either stay where they are or they move forward a little bit. But the bottom line, you said it, and we don't get it. I mean, Perrywood's going to dispute this.
We don't get a decent census.
We don't, pardon?
People are afraid to tell they're in the city.
What's that?
For the census, when they take the census.
Right.
And that's why we're dropping below, and when you drop below X amount, the federal funding goes away.
Yeah, I'm not sure even, I'm going to tell you the truth, John. I don't know if that figure is, what do you call it, accurate?
Can't be. They have to leave about a 10% plus or minus.
I think we have a lot of people here that are undocumented. Not tons of them, but we got people that are uncounted. I would say if we did an accurate count, I'm not going to say we're back to the old days, 138,000. No way near that.
They'll never get there anymore.
But I think we're a lot more than what they're counting.
I wonder what is the count of like refugees or I mean not refugees, but what's the term?
What did I see on TV the other
You
day?
have to get a hold of the Catholic Charities.
They had a thing on TV, John. It was either CBS or NBC, and they showed that Erie, in the medium-sized city market, we're not talking about New York, I think our per capita rating, we were number 1.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, what did they say? We had 30,000 or something?
Yes.
So, what happened is the people that moved out of Erie have been replaced by the immigrant population, and to some degree, some of them, like any group, some of them are out there starting businesses and.
They do. A lot of, you got a lot of people out there. They're hating on the immigrants coming from other countries and stuff. And trust me, I don't think too many of them are living high on the hog here.
No, but I'll tell you, they pointed out the other day about this Nepali gentleman that runs a grocery store, right?
Right.
Well, that's the same thing a lot of my relatives did when they come here.
I mean, exactly. I mean, they get tax breaks. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we want them to be successful.
But I mean,
they're part of the economy.
I mean, he's making money selling to the people that buy his goods.
Yeah, but there's a bad part about that too. A lot of that money is being shipped over to their old country.
Well, yeah, but John, that's a shame on us now for not doing our job in the security end, right?
But John, I don't know how. I mean.
But I got to believe some Italians sent money overseas back in the old days.
I mean, they're not making that much money to send back. I mean, how can they afford to send back over? And
it depends what they're doing with the money. If it's being funneled to bad things, then that's a fault of our security.
I live on the east side, right across the street. There's an Iraqi. I don't know. I think they're Iraqi, but there's like chickens outside. Like one morning, I was laying in bed, and I hear. I live on East 26th. I live in a tough part of.
We do have an ordinance against that.
I hear. And I'm like, what?
We do have an ordinance against that, though.
The ordinance, you can't own more than 25.
No, there's no farm animals in the city anymore, John.
Yeah, but if they're pets.
No, and I don't think that's. I have to look it up, John. But that was not the intent. 25 is not pets.
I don't know if they were pets or dinner.
They're dinner. The only exemptions I remember the late Jim Thompson did was Vietnamese potbelly pigs.
That business is across the street. I'm like, I live like right across the street. And I'm like, let's go see. I'm going to take my van over there and get some work done to it. Let's see what they do. And I tell you what, they got some mechanics over there. They're doing good work. I mean, they did good work, and it was a fair price. I mean, not too many spoke English. They had one guy. That's all you need. And they're doing business. There's a lot of cars coming in and out of there.
Oop.
So, they can be successful. They do offer something because, a lot of the immigrants and the refugees,
They come over with a trade.
Yep.
yeah. This guy was master. This guy, they had my car in and out. I didn't even have to leave the house. I was like, oh, I like this setup over here.
Pot-bellied pigs are nice to play with.
Yeah, I didn't care what language. They talk, they talk brake language. I needed some brake work done. That's all the language I need. They do offer some stuff, but, everybody takes advantage of the system.
Just like the old trades in the high schools way back when. You took basic electricity, you took shop,
Yeah.
and everything else. Now the school board and the superintendent are taking all that away,
Yeah.
and these kids can't use their hands. They got to use the computer
Yeah.
at high price stuff.
I feel bad for the school district over there.
And,
They got their hands full.
Well, let me get off, and
Yep.
if it's a little slow, I'll call back.
Hey,
All right,
thanks, John.
sounds good.
Yeah, I want to apologize for last week, but glad we had a very, very, very important meeting with the school board.
I know.
And it was an eye-opener.
Yeah, no doubt. The thing is that they can put in any, the Republican, their goal is to cut and break teachers' unions. It's just that simple. And the state, they'll save a little money, but we just had to fire and lay off 72 teachers, which kills our local economy.
It does.
Oh,
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, you're talking about the city of Erie?
I just come on. I had to apologize. I had some media was talking to me. Go ahead.
Relay transfer to paper on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Look at the homes that are for sale in the city of Erie. $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 homes.
Yep.
Look at the next column in Mill Creek. $190,000, $225,000. The value of the homes are going down so much in the city, and you're not going to get taxes off that value.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
you are right.
everybody's property value continues to slide.
Big hotel sitting down a lake, not paying any property tax. You got our schools going down. You got Mercyhurst and Gannett College not paying any taxes. And they're using our roads, and and what Mercyhurst is doing is wrecking our neighborhoods.
Where did you see these houses? Because I didn't look.
Avenue and East 38th Street.
Yeah.
The value of all that property is going down due to Mercyhurst. So this is your problem. The property value of the city is going down and down and down. And how are you going to collect taxes off these old houses? These houses are selling for $40,000, $50,000.
Stay on a minute, would you?
A lot of the...
Can you stay on 1 second, sir?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah. When they talked about the comprehensive plan, which everybody's talking about, how they want, city council to get moving. Well, one of the things was that we have to raise roughly $60-some million a year. And that's a combination of everybody. Now, we all know that federal and state are either going to give as much as they do or probably less. So now it puts a burden on private investment. Now, if you look at not Hammermill, but you look at Hammett, Erie Insurance, St. Vincent, and Velocity Net, I think that those projects total around $500 million. So, realistically, you have to apportion them over a 10-year period. Mm-hmm. Or even if you use them all in 1 year, you see the problem. Every year we got to keep generating $65 million. It was pointed out that, and you brought this up, and that's why I want to talk about it. If we had to raise taxes to come up with our share, who do we tax? Mm-hmm. If I went to this gentleman and said, I have to raise your taxes, I don't know if he's happy. And at the same time, we have to make the investment. But he's right. If you look at the assessed value of the city, it's dropped over the years.
Yeah, well, the housing stock in the city is getting, it's getting older. So, and then there, with when Hammermill was there, right, people that worked at Hammermill lived in those neighborhoods,
right,
and they would invest money into their properties, which would fight the blight.
And he's right about my neighborhood. You get all these turning into rentals, mm-hmm, and that's not good.
No.
Go ahead, sir. I didn't want to take your time. Hello?
No, that's what I was just going to tell you. the value of the city homes are going down,
Yes, they are.
and these tax 40% of nonprofits. Something's going to give somewhere along the line here.
I think the nonprofits need to start, they give 50%, or some of them do have the pilot. I mean, we got to beg them for that, and it's like, they better start realizing if the city goes down, that we're their customer base. I mean, they pay 50%, and then they take the rest of it and go name the stadium after them. Are you kidding me? I mean, we've got, they give you, we beg them for 50, thank you for 50, thank you. And we're going to take and go name the stadium after ourselves.
Yeah, but at least here's the bad thing, at least we get 50 out of them, like this gentleman pointed out.
Yeah.
I'll pick on my alma mater, Gannon, okay?
Yeah.
We don't get, how do you, and they passed a special law to get these hotels exempt.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we can't fight the law, we can only fight the constitutionality of the law.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the county don't want to join us because they're the one underwriting the bonds for these things.
Yeah.
You had a private businessman that said you couldn't build these hotels.
Yeah.
And that's proven because we have to have a room tax, which we can't even collect a room tax in the city.
We've given our most taxable property to an authority who they're out for business for themselves. I mean, they do have some that they do. They can get their own bond or grants and stuff. That's good. But then they should be giving us back something because that's part of the city.
Yeah, good luck.
That's our most valuable property.
Nobody questions that.
I don't know whose idea was it to put the intermodal thing, because we got money from Rich. They put the intermodal thing and they built the boat thing. I mean, we need that that's entertainment business.
Yeah.
That's retail entertainment. That's down there. They need to move the bus company up to 12th Street.
I'd rather seen the stadium down there. Would have brought some development.
Oh yeah, the stadium would have been nice down there.
Go ahead, sir. We'll let you finish.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, I'll say this real fast. You got the public library, the federal courthouse, the regular courthouse, all these places off the tax roll, naturally, and all the people come into the city to use these places.
Yes, they do.
And they use our streets. They use it. We have to plow the streets. They use our fire, police.
Absolutely, he's 100% right.
But nobody helps us.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should when they have problems down at Hammett, we send the police there 50% of the time. We plow the roads 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, if your building's on fire, you got fire, we're going to come 50% of the time. The people, and then they get out of the work, and where do they go? To the bayfront, and right out of here. And we're left holding the bag. And then everybody's shaking their head like, what's going on here? There needs to be teamwork between us and the county, and everybody's got their own.
Well, I think the laws have to change.
Who came up with them? I don't know.
The legislature.
Oh boy!
In Pennsylvania, we can't. We can sit here and moan and groan. We can challenge them like we are with our solicitor.
Yeah.
But it's out of our hands as far as.
If you challenge those guys down there, they got juice. I mean, you know that they got juice.
But there's your this guy here is your frustrated homeowner.
He's right. He's right. I sit there shaking my head. We have the poverty initiative. Okay. These guys, their job is to reduce poverty, okay? Mm-hmm. So let's say I'm the poverty guy. I'm the director of poverty improvement. I improve poverty. Guess what? We don't have a poverty problem anymore. Guess who's going to be in poverty? Me!
Yeah,
because I don't have a job anymore.
There you go. Now you know about how government works.
That's like, I shake my head. I go, what is going on?
You can't legislate yourself out of a job, right?
Yeah. I'm the poverty initiative guy. I want this done. I'm going to get this done. We're all going to rise out of poverty. And then they're going to say, guess what, John, we don't need you anymore. And I'm going to be a poverty. It's like, oh my God.
You got anything more, sir?
Sorry.
Hey, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing I want to tell you. I'm 76 years old. I have 3 kids. All 3 of my kids went through the Catholic school system, elementary and high school.
Right.
And I never used the city school system.
Well, you did indirectly, but I won't argue your point.
And I'm still paying taxes.
Well, until they come up with another system, which they haven't, it seems to be that real estate tax is the way we're looking at it.
Sales tax.
It should be, but you know what? Once again, you bring up the big question is, that is on a level that the state has to address, and they don't want to address it. We've been talking for years in the city about should we be able to collect like 1% of the sales tax For us, the income tax, sir, did you know that on the income tax, the people that work in the city, if they live outside the city, we lose that income tax?
We can't collect from their, we don't,
Would you rather collect 1% of Mill Creek Mall or 1% of Hammett and Vincent? And think about, I mean, just, think about it. What do these people make it?
yeah.
Most of our school teachers and employees live outside the city.
Most of the people that come into Hammett, they're from Pittsburgh. The
Yeah.
doctors don't even live here.
No,
they hate coming here.
Now you see
Who
our
wants to drive up I-79? You know how many appointments they cancel down there?
Yeah.
I mean, the service isn't that great down there. They don't care. That's just, that's part of the,
We'll let you go, okay, sir?
Yeah, one more thing that I was...
Go ahead.
The Dollar General, the Dollar Tree, Country Fair, all these businesses, they pay $8, $10 an hour. Walmart, that ain't going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. The girl raise a family and pay your bills in the city. We lost all the big shops. Unless we get something back in there, I don't know what's going to happen. This city's going to dry up.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, you're 100% right. You can't have a family. You got to have a family-sustaining wage. Well, the economic development, the county, that whole thing, they bought all that property, and now they're selling it at bargain rates, and the business community is waiting for the price to drop on it.
You keep hearing that. The reason why business don't come here is because the state is not...
What we need to do is, when you have an economic development plan, you need to have the paperwork set. Okay, you go out, you say, forget the red tape. You cut through all the red tape, and we got that worked out. We go out and say, hey, we got this, sign here, sign here, sign here. Let's start building.
Oop, I just said gentleman hung up on us.
I know I try to simplify it, but you got to simplify it for them and go get them. They're not coming here.
You got to thank that guy for calling, though.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
It was a good call.
That
Go
was.
ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Cass.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, a couple of things. Last week, I think Carl Anderson was on the air.
Yes, he was. Yeah, I couldn't make it, and John and Carl filled in for me.
I'm glad they did. They did a pretty good job, too.
Thanks.
But one of the things they brought up was a little bit about the history of Erie, about any significant people that contributed greatly to the development of Erie. I thought that was a great idea. And I think maybe sometime if you can find the right right persons, maybe we can get together somehow and create a history of an up-to-date history of Erie, about from its beginning to now, so that people know where we were and how we're going. Because you're talking about developing it outward now, but we need to know where we've been too.
He's right.
Different people.
Some of these businesses, the 12th Street corridor.
Yeah.
Is there anything going in that area right now that you know of? Because we still got some empty buildings, business from the old plants that were there.
Well, there's many phases of 12th Street corridor. There's a portion that's going to be administered by the downtown district, which they're working with the Commonwealth on. That's mostly the traffic flow part of it.
Is the Innovative District, is that in the 12th Street area?
Could be. There's so many plans out there. There's one, though, where they started to cut the width of 12th Street.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the downtown plan. That's probably the Innovative District. That's being worked on. They continue to work with business people like Rick Griffith on the empty buildings. There is a plan out there, but you know what? There's so many plans out there. They're trying to start with, if you watch like the comprehensive plan, they're trying to develop the core downtown first,
right,
and then move out. But yeah, 12th Street is one of those things that's in transition. If you look at, it's probably the plan you're talking about, John, that as you notice, they've already cut down the lanes. They want to make it pedestrian friendly. Now they're trying to get investment. Now you have a couple like that one brewery that went in there. Lavery's?
Yeah, Lavery's or Lavery's. Yeah.
They're looking at stuff like that where you have some people like Howie's Pizza and stuff that...
There is stuff going on. I mean, it's people don't see it, but there's improvements.
But before, the corridor was pretty much to move people. Now they're saying they want to put some business on there, so that's a huge step.
Yeah.
Probably starts from like McDonald's heading into downtown.
Well, the plan, the Buki plan, I mean, it's a good plan. We got something on paper now.
It's how you do the money, though.
Yeah. Well, you have to, everybody's got to be, when we file for grants, we all got to be on the same page because we're not.
Well, the one thing that I'll talk about when this gentleman's done, but there is some coordination now, which we didn't have before, but...
Well, I mean, why does it take a crisis for coordination to occur?
No, you're right, but 12th Street is being looked at, Doc. Doc? Yeah, it's being looked at. It's just...
What about down there, at the Bayfront? I know right now we got the convention center and they're building, and you got Scott with his development.
Right.
I see. I have a daughter lives down around the Homestead area of Pittsburgh. They took where they had been nothing but big steel mills there.
Yeah, there's that nice development, Riverside, they call it.
They brought in like Eaton Park and other restaurants into there, and Lowe's, and built all that stuff down there.
Yeah, you're talking about that Riverside project.
It's hard to get around down there because so much traffic and so many businesses are down there in that one area.
Well, they want to do that here too, but right now it's there's a general plan out there, and I think they're going to have another. Right now, the last I heard was they are marketing the property. They have a guy marketing it right now, and that stuff will all be subject to approval by council and others. So there is a plan right now that they're going to market that GAF property, which is what I think you're talking about. That's a huge portion. So that should be rolled out shortly, and we'll see what comes back. It's one thing to say that you want what Pittsburgh's got, but it's another thing to say if you got people that are willing to invest in this area.
Well, the way the city is designed, I mean, it's not even our fault. You can't, the Bayfront, when you drive down the East River, the East River in New York, it's kind of a lot like the Bluffs, what we have here. All that front area right by the water is public area, parks, water, and then up on the Bluffs, that's where the high rises are, the residential, all the tax bases, not the nonprofits. Not the nonprofits.
Yeah.
The nonprofits are in further. I mean, if we had to rip everything down, the nonprofits, Gannon, all of them, they're good. Move them up.
Yeah.
And then you have your most taxable property. That's where the high rise. That's where the Trump Towers are. That's where everything. All the main tax base is right there because it's your most taxable property. But it's not our fault because Hammett was there before. I mean, in Gannon, it's so we have to adjust where our economy's going because we have problems that we got to deal with.
Well, we had a chance way back, but we didn't take it. So now you look at. I'll give you an example. Now you got Tom Kennedy retrofitted his hotel in there, which took a little work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I haven't been by there. I don't know how they got it in there.
It was and we can do that in certain places, but. There are limitations there.
Are they paying taxes to the city?
Yeah, he would be for tax.
Good.
Did we give him a break?
Oh, I hope so.
We gave him a loan and stuff.
So that you guys did a small business loan to him?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about.
It's going to be like Nick Scott. He's going to get some breaks.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, like your insurance, and your insurance we get. Doc, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I want to get off the line so others can call you in.
Okay.
But I want to say one thing maybe that it might be worthwhile trying to do is you talk about Scott and who's the other one that you just opened that motel up down there too?
Tom Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah. Get those men like that are able to invest in Erie and get them together at one table and sit down and see what they would throw out as possible projects that they'd be willing to contribute, even if they maybe joined hands together in contributing some large sum to bring all this in and be co-owners of it.
Well, sometimes people don't want to listen to them because they speak the truth. I remember Nick Scott spoke the truth about something, and they really got mad at him. But at the end of the day, it's one thing to say you want this done, but when it's your dime and you're the one putting up the money. And at the end of the day, you have to pay the bills. Sometimes your dream is not. You have to look at Erie. I mean, there's a realistic side to Erie. We're not Pittsburgh, okay? But that doesn't mean we can't do things. Right. And so sometimes things have to be done, like the GF property. I think everybody wants to see a mini Navy Pier, a mini Seaport Village, a mini promenade place, and that can happen, but it's got to be realistic to what Erie can handle. You don't, like I always use the analogy, you can't put a Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Erie. Okay, you can't. Well, you can try it, but it's probably not going to make it,
Yeah. Down on the waterfront, I mean, in the wintertime, it might be tough. But, I mean, right where the intermodal system is, I mean, you could leave the building there.
But I don't buy that being tough, John. I'll tell you why. Richard, you remember when you and I were young, right?
Oh, yeah.
People walked around downtown. It was cold and miserable.
Oh, yeah.
But that was, I still think the people that go to the library, the people that go to Sloppy Duck, the people that are going to go to Tom Kennedy's hotel, the people that are going to the 2 hotels down there.
Yeah.
I mean, is winter going to stop them, really?
No, it won't stop them. Matter of fact, I'm thinking if you built something down here at the GAF site
To attract them.
like a large, say, square area of stores with a central inner court area where people maybe covered that inner court so that people can eat outdoors in that area all year round, and then have access to the stores from the inner court as well as from the outside. Something like, remember Central Market used to be that way.
Well, they're talking about, there's 2 plans now. There's a Central Market that they're talking about
At the bus station.
at the bus station. There's one that they're talking about GAF side. And it's interesting. I like the idea of a market
Yeah.
because it works in other towns. In fact, they even talked about having an outdoor ice skating rink at the GF site.
They're talking about a market up here, too.
Where?
Where those condos are on Peach by Arby's.
I didn't hear it. When it was
Yeah,
ever released.
yeah. I saw there's a group working on it. I think they're working with, doesn't Rick Griffith own that?
Yeah.
I think they're working with that crew to do some.
And there you have Rick Griffith as a guy that said, the project that Pittsburgh envisioned is not going to work. Mm-hmm. Okay, not there. Mm-hmm. So he said, we got to look at a more realistic.
Yeah.
That's where sometimes they don't want to listen. People like to have the glitz that they envision, but maybe that's not the place,
Right. I mean, we try to do things, and I mean, the way the original way the city was set up, it's not right. I mean, but we didn't have nothing to do with that. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, it's not.
Well,
if you drive around town downtown, we have the '70s architecture. I mean, it's, oh my God, it's.
But Cleveland Buffalo have the same, waterfront limitations.
And they're making comebacks. So I think Buffalo.
We just, we allowed we allowed our growth to be limited. We didn't go out far enough,
I think Erie is it's right there. It's ready. I think people are starting to get the picture that, But, people in the county, they'll say, how can I help the city? Instead of driving, stop at the Tops. If you live out on the West County, stop at Tops on West 26th Street. Stop at the gas station over there. Get your groceries there. Alternate, because you want to support, if you live in, Mill Creek or Fairview, I mean, you want to help city, you want to help tax base because you want, roads and services. Stop at the store. It's little things like that where you start turning an economy around and start building a partnership.
Doc, are you okay yet?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, with whatever they build down here, Kaz, they should name it Kwiatkowski Park.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. No, but your 12th Street, they are talking, they are making movement on that, okay?
Be interesting. I guess, it's just a matter of how slow things are moving.
If you want to look at it, I know you got a little problem with, I could get you a book,
No, that's okay. But for going back to what that Anderson had here, I thought we need to update the Erie history.
We do. We don't study it enough. But
If anybody knows Erie's history, it's Carl. He's a research genius. I mean, he gets a lot of. He is really good.
I gotta let you go, Kaz. I got a call coming in. You take care, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, he and I are friends, and he tells me stuff, and I'm like, how do you know that? I mean, he's really smart.
Well, I like history. There's so many misconceptions. Like a lot of people think the Battle of Lake Erie was fought off of Erie.
You're right. It's Detroit, Detroit area.
Well, hey,
that was the big one.
Yeah, it was actually the islands out there,
Yeah.
Put in Bay Area.
Hey, do you know that? I went to a history thing, and Commodore Perry. They're saying don't give up the ship. He dove off the ship and went to the other ship. They have this plan.
Yeah.
We're all going to stay in a line. And when you look at the way it was lined, his ship was way out of line. So it got, he wasn't even following his own plan.
Well, you got to read. There's a good book. There's a couple good ones.
Yeah.
Denny Knowles wrote one, The Admiral.
I think it's either so his ship gets bombed. So he's like, I got to get out of here. So I'm pretty sure that he rolls. First, he was on the Lawrence, I think.
Yeah.
It's the Lawrence and the Niagara. I can't
Lawrence.
remember. It was on the Lawrence. He's out of line. They get bombed. They sink. He says, I got to get out of here. So he rows back to the Niagara, and we still win the war.
Yeah, but you got to read the story about the Niagara. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
About how that guy, Elliot, held back the ship.
Oh, Elliot was the captain.
Well, they were equals in rank, but not.
Yeah.
See, they both.
Yeah.
They were like at war with one another.
Right.
Personally.
Yep.
So there's a rumor that the Niagara was held back.
Yeah.
So Perry would get embarrassed.
Perry jumps off his ship, gets on Elliot's ship, who was following the plan, and the park's named after Perry and not Elliot.
Where's the flag?
Is it Washington? Where was it? I mean, somebody's got it. Do we have it? Where is it?
We tried to get it.
I know we did, but
We tried to get even for a celebration.
They wouldn't give it up. Remember? They wouldn't. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they ain't giving that up.
You want to announce it?
The U.S. Naval Academy, they're not giving that up.
Above a mantle, the last time I saw it.
Yeah. There was
It
something.
was actually some Erie women that sewed it.
I think actually Carl was working on getting that.
He was.
Didn't we get a sword? Did we get
I heard we
we
did.
got a sword or something? They tried to work on that, the Perry 200. That was one of our
We
things.
tried to get the flag even on loan from the Naval Academy.
Yeah, they said no. They said no way, Jose.
It was, even though it was sewed here by Erie women.
Yeah. But I mean, just think about it. Perry was he's off the plan.
I have a feeling though, if we had Tom Ridge as like vice president
Yeah.
or president,
Yeah.
if he had made it,
Yeah.
I think the flag's come back to Erie.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I think it's come back
he's
for
a
a
naval
week.
guy too, isn't he? Navy or Army?
Yeah,
Okay.
we claim him.
Yeah, right. Kaz is an Army. He's a cadet. You were in the Army with my father-in-law,
A what?
Joe Kirsch. You know Joe Kirsch?
Yeah. Joe's a great guy.
Yeah, that's my father. We were talking about you the other day.
He owed me. He had the movie theater, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's in the newspapers. He's the king of drive-ins, the Star Drive-In.
I'm still trying to get a speaker off him.
He might have some.
Ask him if he's got one. I wanted one just for.
Yeah. Well, they just sold the Corey Drive-In.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
sold now?
Yeah, it is sold.
I got to go take a picture before they tear it down.
Yeah, the Kirsch family. It's on the big jumbo screen. Yeah.
Oop, they hung up.
And he was the king of drive-ins. There's pictures of him. The Star Drive-In. I remember going there. It was a great place. You know what they did? In Waterford, theirs is still open, but they had to have this giant fundraiser. And why the drive-in closed?
It's a digital, right?
They changed. Yeah, you had to get these new cameras, and they come in and you have to give the movie company so much money, and he would charge $10 a carload because we're family oriented.
Yeah.
He wants families in there, and they came in there and gave him a hard time because he wasn't maximizing property, and he was the profits, and he's like, I'm fighting. He was a businessman, but he's understands family and a fair price, and they were forcing him to charge more, and they didn't care. But I mean, hey, that's
Joe's a
business.
good guy, though.
Yeah, Joe is a good guy.
Go ahead, caller.
I don't know who he is sitting there, but he needs to ask his father to open the drive-ins up, build more. We need drive-ins here in this town.
Well, I'll tell you what I heard. Hang tight a minute. I knew a gentleman, a couple of them, not only Mr. Kirsch, but a couple of gentlemen that had these drive-ins for years found out that the land was more valuable to sell for housing. That's what happened with the Skyway and the Star. They became. They used to be out in what parts of town that nobody was developing, and they had nothing to do with them. So they figured, let's put a movie theater on them. But John brings up a good point that now they want you to have digital movie cameras. It makes it real tough.
Yeah, they're very expensive, and the way the movie company, the way they set it up. I mean, the drive-ins, you see 2 movies usually, but it's like the movie, the regular movie theater, it's almost like $9, $10 to get into the movies now.
Would you go? Are you still there? Hello?
I think they hung up. But I mean, the drive-in theater is a great place. I mean,
It's the gentleman or the person who brought up the phone call. It's what's killing them too is that today people. I go to the cinema once in a while in Erie. On rare nights you see a full house, but people are streaming on their phones and everything. And I don't think people go out as much.
Well, let me
as
tell you what this is. I was at a friend of mine's house. He's got this thing called the Fire Stick.
I heard of it.
You've heard of it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're watching movies in the theater in his house. Pay-per-views, because everything is online now. People are getting rid of satellite. He's got DirecTV. That's out of here. He's got everything. He's got more. You can download. You got on-demand stuff. You got pay-per-view. You've got. I don't know if you get like ABC, CBS, and.
Yeah. Why would you go to the movie theater? But
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to. They're right at his house. I was like, wait a minute.
But
He's like,
the person that just called, what I would like to see, and we've never done it, other towns have, I would like to have our people approach one of these theaters and say, would you ever consider putting a small one down, like down to waterfront or something?
like the Strand.
Yeah.
I love the Strand Theater. I used to go there all the time as a kid. I remember Bruce Lee movies. I'd go see Bruce Lee, and I'd come out of there.
Actually, the Shades across the street.
I used to come out of there. I thought I knew karate for a
You
minute.
remember the Shades across the street?
Yeah.
That was a nicer one.
Yeah.
Older, but
Yeah.
we got to start getting investors in here. But
Yeah.
go
we
ahead,
gotta start
caller.
Doing some.
The last movie I went to was in 1960 at the Columbia.
Holy crap! That's the last one you went to?
Yeah, I went to see EO 11. I mean, the Sinatra and his bunch.
Oh, Ocean's 11,
Yeah,
1960.
that's when it came out.
You sure? I thought it was after that.
No, I was in school. We skipped. It was senior day. We skipped.
Well, you would know that.
So, and it was 25 cents at the old Columbia.
Well, the last one I saw in the old Shays was Thunderball with James Bond.
I saw that. I was sitting in the middle of the museum.
I was telling John, do you remember the old Shays on Nice and Look?
Yes, there was three floors.
Yep, and it would have made a nice one for what I call small plays or ballet or something.
Oh yeah, that would have been perfect for Gypsy Rose.
Yeah, something that was small that you didn't want the big crowds, you know.
That's true. And you're talking about that comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Penelec had a comprehensive plan for the Front Street Station, the grain elevator, and that whole area back in 1985.
Oh, really?
But nothing ever happened, right?
No, because the city didn't give them any backing, the county didn't give them any backing, and they took their money and left.
Well, you know, John just brought up a point, and I'm glad you reminded me, because John was talking about it with all these plans, and you can name them. You got the Lower West Side Bayfront Plan, you got the Downtown Improvement District Plan, you got the GAF Waterfront Plan, you got
Innovative District
Plan, Erie Refocus Plan, and you got Gannon, Hammermill. They all got, not Hammer, I keep saying Hammermill. Gannon, Hammett, they got their own, Erie Insurance has their plan. And I will say this, the meeting we just had recently with Chris Mong and the young lady from Erie County Planning.
Yeah, Kathy and Chris were on the air today.
They were, and you know what they did that made sense? For the first time, they had all the people in a room together, talking together. In other words, like my biggest problem was, I thought, and I said this for years, we're like a shotgun. We're firing pellets all over the place, but nobody's hitting anything. You know, but now we're targeting, like, you know, certain areas. We're going to get that done before we move on. And now when somebody does something like Gannon, they're seeing, does that fit into what we want? And does the, you know, like you say, John, does Penlec's plan fit into what we want, you know?
The whole waterfront, it took encased. It had little Pop and Mom stores.
I kind of remember that. They wanted to do like a Seaport Village down there.
Boutiques and everything else.
Yeah, you know what? And it was probably, let's see, in 85, it was probably too far ahead of the curve. But yet we didn't even consider it, and now we're in the GF plan, and now we're talking about where Penelec was.
You're going back to the original. Larry Valentine from Penelec was handling that up here.
And then now you got, I think, most of that land's owned by Scott now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have made sense, but, and Scott's doing kind of like what you wanted to, but we could have done that a long time ago, you know.
Well, it's just like the Bayfront Highway. They thought that was the greatest thing. Now they don't want to use the Bayfront Highway. They want you to use Paul Street.
Yeah, they're like, all of a sudden they're surprised why the road is successful. Well, I got news for them. The less lights you have on there, people use it to move across town.
That's the easiest way to get out of town from the nonprofits.
All those businesses went down the tubes when that Bayfront Highway went in.
Yeah, I mean, people, what we don't have in Erie, and I said this for years, we do not have a road that can get you from one side of town to the other.
No expressway,
Every town has one.
pretty much.
I mean, very few big cities do not have one, to some degree, somewhere.
And now 38th Street's going to be a real mess for the next 6 months.
Yeah, and,
Wall Street is kind of fast, though, as far as an expressway.
Well, they're slowing that down, though.
If you take 12th Street, it's a lot safer and quicker than the Bayfront.
well, yeah, because now what's happened is the people have shifted to the Bayfront, but yet still on 12th Street, you've cut down the number of lanes a little bit, but you're still not synchronized where you can fly, but
You know, the Bayfront, I remember the first time when they opened, I drove down the Bay and it was kind of icy. That curve, I mean, a lot of accidents happen on, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a serious curve. I mean, there's a lot of accidents that happen there.
On State Street by Hammett Hospital.
you know, when I go to Allentown, and I bring this up, and they go, well, that's Allentown, that's Pittsburgh. Well, and I keep saying what we don't have in Erie is, if you have to get out to the airport, you know, and you don't leave early enough, which is your fault, but still, it's pretty tough to get from the airport into, you know, Center City.
Wait till you have a major disaster and you have to use these escape routes.
Yeah, we don't have them like, you know.
Nope.
I'm not saying that we want to have all these highway systems, but, you know, as they envisioned the Bayfront Highway years ago, that's what they envisioned, was a road to get, you know, across the city if you had to.
Just like they want high-speed rail. Where are you going to get high-speed rail?
Well, I'd like to see it, but in this country, we haven't invested in it.
Not feasible up this way.
Yeah.
Of course, the Erie Canal wasn't either, was it?
No, but you know what? It would be nice to have the rail system they have in Europe.
Yes, it would be.
Because, you know, it would, you know, then you wouldn't have to worry about building airports in every city. You could, if you could get to like one of the major hubs in less than an hour with high-speed rail.
Well, it's just like the subway in New York and Philadelphia and Baltimore and that way. They're underground and everything. But, well, have a good evening, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Actually, I think we're out of time. Kaz, I want to thank you.
Are we out of time? He didn't say
It's
so.
after 3 o'clock. I don't know, Mike might have took a nap over there.
Well, we'll take a minute till Mike gives us the bad side.
Yeah.
But seriously, John, they are coordinating the plans for the first time. Let's hope they stay with it.
Well, you know, and just, you know, I think people we need some solutions. I mean, it's time for solutions.
But you know what? We had so many. The trouble is we had everybody aiming in a different direction. And I think
Yeah, you got to get the
It's like
city,
people-
the county, and the school board, and the school district. I mean, we're all interlinked, especially us in the school board even more, or the school district, and nobody's going to come when your education. You have no education. That's the number one thing
No, I look
that
at two
people
things.
look at.
when you moved into the neighborhood, you looked at, was there stores, grocery stores, schools, churches?
Yep.
Those things all factor in.
Yeah, it does.
Whether you're religious or not, churches, schools.
I mean, should
and
they
businesses.
consolidate? I mean, are they, you know, okay, but I mean, they're sending out an announcement today that to all the schools that, guess what? You might be closing.
Yeah.
I mean, they are in a serious situation.
And people don't think, you know, they blame mismanagement. You know, those days are gone.
There's no money. You can't mismanage anything if you don't have any money.
But I laughed at like the Secretary of Education that said raise taxes. Oh,
Yeah,
wait a
okay.
minute, hang on a minute.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I mean, what as an elected official, I've talked to people.
Yeah.
If I even wanted to raise taxes, let's say a mill to take care of roads,
Yeah.
strictly for roads,
Right.
I'd have a selling job. If I go back and tell them I got to raise your taxes 3 mills,
Yeah.
or the school district does,
Right.
I don't know. And I'm not saying 3 mills is the answer. I'm saying you start talking money. You know,
You know, these charter schools, a lot of other communities, their business community, and other people, they pitch in to pay for the charter schools. Ours doesn't. They don't do that here.
No.
You can't sue those guys down there and say, give us the money. They're not going to give it to you. They're not going to give it to you so you can hand it out. They think you're handing it out to your friends with jobs and pensions and everything.
Yeah.
Come up with a plan. Say, we want you to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for that. We want this organization to pay for that. Are you guys in? We're working together now. Now, if they say no, then guess what? Well, then it's no.
it's like, okay, when they talk, you read in the paper about council's not moving fast enough, the administration's not moving fast enough. we're not just going to have public hearings for the sake of public hearings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work going on underneath the surface.
People don't know half the stuff. I don't even know half. I know a little bit, but I don't know.
I mean, they had this war room they talked about.
Yeah.
It was out of the way of the press and the media and all of us politicians, and they rolled up their sleeves and they went to work.
Right.
And that's what you want. I mean, they came back to us as a legislative body, showed us a proper respect, and explained the plan, and you know what? That's how you get things done. Now, when we're ready, we will have the public hearings.
Yeah.
But-
Aren't there public hearings coming up for the CDBG or money or something?
We had one already on that.
Oh, I thought it was the 7th. Oh, wait, what's today? Wasn't it the 7th? I mean, wait a minute. What's the
We
date?
had one. We had one last
I think there's-
Thursday.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
How'd that go? Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, I saw.
Oh, that's the public hearing portion.
The public hearing
We had
portion.
one with council. I'm sorry, that's right. We had our study session. with
Okay,
them.
I saw that. I thought I saw that.
But, but it's like, how many minutes we got, Mike? We're done, right?
No,
We'll wrap it up.
yeah, we'll wrap it up. Yeah, I think we've done.
But, just to tell you that, we will have the public hearings with the comprehensive plan as we progress. What we want to do is go into each neighborhood. At least that's what I get out of this council. I can't tell you what any other council would do, if there's a, but this council wants to go into each neighborhood when it's time and address their problems, their issues. Because every section that Buki laid out has their own issues.
Yeah.
My issues in my neighborhood are not the same as somebody else's.
I mean, you need to, when you do the whole land bank, revitalization, you get an area.
Yeah.
You focus on the house, let you talk to this landowner. You got one nice house, you got 2 dumps. This guy, okay, tear the house down, say, hey, you want to buy this property? We'll sell it to you. Rip the house down, help them out. Then they buy it, then it goes back on the tax rolls. And if let's say they don't buy it, you let it sit there, it's blank property. So eventually, once other revitalization goes around, that the value starts going up. And then everybody's property value starts going up because that one did. And then you get investment coming in. We just got to get the ball rolling.
Well, we're
coming.
There's a lot of stuff that's going underneath the surface, and it's out. The worst thing you can do is roll out something too early.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay for it, so you got to have it set up because you don't want to come in and say you're going to do something and you not have the money for it. But the city and the county and the state, we got to start working to forget fiefdoms. But that's not going to change. Those guys, they're not going to change.
No, that never
The
changes.
county guys, they got a whole new perspective on the world because they got money. Switch roles for a minute. Anyways, I won't be on for a while, so you guys talk about
But
it.
it's been a good pleasure.
Kaz, you're a good man, my friend.
We'll see you afterwards.
Thanks for everybody. Thanks to everybody that called in today.
I got to turn that off.
Yeah, we had problems with the song, so,
did? Was that-
the introduction. Yeah, they had